Hello and welcome to another one of Connor's tool reviews, and today we have the DTD171 Makita impact driver. It's a really nice impact driver, quite lightweight, similar weight to the battery. It's probably one of Makita's newer models, if not the newest one. Really great impact driver. I've been using this now for probably close to a year, I'd say, and it's seen a lot of action. As you can see, it's a little bit beat up, but it's not terrible. But yeah, it's a really nice impact driver though. Weight's good, size is good. 116 millimeters. Takes a standard hex shank bit. Not very much. Well, there's a little bit of play. I with the adapter. Very, very powerful. 180 Newton meters of torque for this one, and it has. I'm usually running it on a 3 amp battery, or else a 5 amp battery. But for me, with the 3 amp battery, this can pretty much go all day. I've had no problems with it. LXT brushless motor for long life and, you know, high power output for like the duration of its service. I have the belt hook. I like the belt hooks on these. I think they're very handy. Yeah, so there's a few different features on this. It has the impacts per minute is 3,800, and the revolutions on max is 3,600 revs per minute. So it's really kind of like high speed. There's 4 basic speed settings you can see along here, and they can actually be altered with a little button that's just above your trigger. See that little button there? Just above the trigger. If you press that, it will alter your speed settings. That's setting 1. That's maximum setting. Setting 3. And setting 2. And it's obviously variable speed, which is really nice. It's really high torque as well. But there's a lot more to this impact driver than my previous impact driver. I had a Hilti impact driver, which was very, very good as well. But I think the technology has really moved along quite a lot with this one, with this new Makita model, because as you can see, it's got its own little kind of. I would describe it as like a little kind of computer almost, and there's a number of different settings on this that can be altered. As you can see, that's the secondary. Well, that's the primary button for changing the power, and then you got the secondary button then for changing the power. But the real kind of like you know, interesting feature in this is for wood. So it's got 4 settings. It's got wood, it's got nuts, and it has tin metal and thick metal. And with wood, basically what you're going to do is, if you start your screw, it starts off slow. Once the impact driver feels resistance, it speeds up and sends your screw straight in. Really, really nice. And then with the bolt mode, it's really high power, but then when it feels like there's less resistance, the tool stops. So it means your bolt, or sorry, your nut essentially won't come off the bolt, which is really good for scaffolders and stuff. Then with you got the tin metal, which means if you're screwing something into like tin metal, like aluminium, once it feels a little bit of resistance, it'll stop as well. And then the thick metal, It will stop when it feels a lot more resistance when you're maybe drilling into an RSJ or something like that. But I found this impact driver really, really good. Obviously, you know, there's a number of different bits you can add onto it. You know, there's a whole selection. They all work in it. And then for me, what I really like is, let's say I want to put a hole in say a joist to feed a pipe or a wire through. Like, if I put this into my impact driver, this thing it just chews up the timber with just effortless, absolutely effortless. Weight wise, you're probably, I don't know, it's a similar weight to the battery more or less. Little bit more, but more or less the same weight as a standard Makita battery. So just to give you a rough idea, I don't have a scale, so I can't tell you exact weights, but it's decent, and it's a pretty compact size, and yeah, all in all, just a very, very good tool that I'd highly recommend. Just trying to think, did I miss anything else? It's very ergonomic, really feels good in the hand, and the head is tiny, so you can really get into some, you know, hard to reach places. And you got the 2 lights on the front. I think in the old model you had only 1 light, so the 2 lights is really handy. And I don't know whether you can see it on the camera now because it's not that dark, but there's basically a glow in the dark strip here, so that when the lights go out, if you're in a dark environment, you will be able to locate this impact driver. You know, if you're in an attic, say, and you don't have any lights, and maybe your only light source is the impact driver, if you put this down the ground, you won't lose it. You'll be able to find it again. So I think that's really just an unusual feature that I haven't seen in too many different impact drivers and you know, tools of this nature. But yeah, it's really, really nice tool. It's highly rubberized as well, and I think I've dropped this a few times, which I'm ashamed to say because you don't really want to be dropping these things. But the rubbers really do work. Like, it's basically shock resistant to a certain degree. So yeah, it's really, really handy. Lovely, kind of like, it's got a really nice feel on that chuck. It's just really solid and just really, really nice. It doesn't take it. If you push down, it doesn't take it. You gotta lift that up to engage the bit. So I don't know, some guys like that, some guys don't. For me, it's not really too big an issue. But yeah, there's not really a lot that I can say to fault this tool. I'm trying to think off my head really what I would want different in this. Maybe the chuck. Maybe if that would accept, if I just push it in, that would be nice to see in the Makita models. Trigger is very nice, variable speed. If you don't want to use any of these settings, you can just go back to, you know, full power and then just use your own kind of pressure from your finger, which is really, really, you know, it's awesome. It's really nice. But I don't know whether you can hear it on the camera, but the sound of that motor, it says quality to me. Very, very clean sound. As I say, brushless motors, excellent runtime. Should get years of runtime out of a tool like this. And you know, price wise, yeah, it's expensive. I think for the body alone, I paid about £300, if not more. So yeah, not a cheap tool, but if you're doing a lot of carpentry like what I do, like if you're a chippy or whatever, you're gonna need to get something like this. This is gonna be like you're gonna make your money with this. You know what I mean? This is your this is your bread and butter tool for, you know, any type of first fix work, basically. But yeah, definitely a thumbs up from me anyway. And well done, Makita, you've done it again. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and leave any comments if you have any further questions about the tool. I think I've said all I need to say about it, and I would highly recommend this tool. Thanks for watching.